Faster, further, higher and steeper. Yes, sounds like a classic mountain bike marketing campaign. But those are in fact the things that we have done in the first year on EMBN.
Yeah, new people, new places, new tech, new bikes, lots of new stuff going on. Let's take a look at our highlights of 2018.
Boom! But Chris, it's not just about the bikes or the tech or the places we've been to. Think about all those characters that have been on EMBN this year or been part of EMBN, such as multiple world champion Nico Vulios, Fabian Burrell, double world champion. And then of course, when it comes to two-wheel sport, how can you forget Sylvain Gintoli, the world superbike champion? Now, closer to home, we've had some good fun with Georgia Leslie, with Ollie Wilkins doing the 1,000-foot dead challenges.
Yeah, ex-world freeride champion Sam Pilgrim been showing us his skills on the e-bike. Yeah. Steve Gill, legend of mountain biking, he's been doing the e-bike thing as well, so we've had him on the show. But
Chris, it's not just about the legends, it's about everybody that's been part of EMBN this year. The people who've seen out on the trails, the people who've got in touch with us with their photographs or their experiences. It's been an insane year.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the ultimate workout, the scare factor, and of course avoiding being chased at a Dodge City, the Slab was definitely one of this year's highlights. And there's some great behind the scenes moments of Chris being sick and myself wanting to go to the loo quite quickly. Chris, it was massive, right?
Yeah, pretty amazing. As I say, I've ridden that 15, 20 years ago going down and it was strong enough for a video part back then. Little did I think a few years later we'd be riding up that thing. It just really opened my eyes to what the e-bike was sort of capable of.
Yeah, I mean, we were lucky with the weather.
Yeah.
But it certainly was physically one of the hardest things I've done on an e-bike.
As you mentioned, I was sick at the end of that. I didn't see that on camera, but as we were descending back down, packing away, I was actually sick in the head.
But Chris, it was all very urban, it was all very smooth and consistent. We needed to take that to another place.
We needed to go mountain biking.
We needed to go mountain biking, so we went to a place where the grip level was on another level. However, it was much, much more difficult. And the risk of death was very, very close, right?
Yeah, I don't get scared a lot on mountain bikes, but this thing, literally climbing up, was one of the scariest things I've probably done ever on an e-bike, for sure.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I thought we'd actually gone to the wrong place when we arrived. I was like, we're never riding up there.
Yeah, but of course we had to take things to yet another level again, didn't we?
Stepped it up once more.
Yeah, and we took Kevin to North Wales. Actually, that wasn't a highlight.
Definitely a low light for you. A highlight for myself watching him struggle up there, but a low light for you.
Oh, that was absolutely horrendous. But of course, we travelled much further afield than here in the UK. And back in the summer, we did the Shimano E mountain bike experience in the Dolomites, where we actually crossed the Dolomites over 5 days. And when it comes to a variety of trails and meeting some crazy locals and having some fantastic lunches up in the mountains where we recharged our batteries, then that for me was a classic tour in the Alps. And of course, a little earlier in the year, a little further south down at Lake Garda, we did the Bosch e-mountain bike challenge. Myself and the Don embarked on a day in the mountains above Lake Garda, where there was a mix of uphill, downhill, along and across, some high pressure observed trials moments, and of course some orienteering where there was lots of banter, lots of arguments how to find your way around the mountains. So that was a really great day in the hills too.
Well, Steve was getting lost out in the Italian mountains. I was here in the UK with Steve Gill, legend of freeride mountain biking. We rode an epic route, real cool freeride spots, skate parks, street, you name it. We rode it on a big circular route, one big ride out, a really good video.
Yeah. And of course, e-bike racing was high on the agenda this year. And back in September, myself and Jack went down to the Rock d'Azur Festival in France to do the e-bike race. Now, unfortunately, I failed to get my entry in on time. That didn't mean we didn't have a great time riding the 4-stage event north of the Mediterranean. And the day after, we returned to the same location, and I probably did one of the hardest, most technical climbs I've ever done on an e-bike. And that was all on the Shimano E7000 motor, 60 watt-hours, which is actually quite low in terms of the torque compared to a lot of other bikes out. This shows that power is nothing without control.
So talking about speed and control, I really had my work cut out for me. The guys here set me a challenge of 100 kilometers an hour to beat downhill on a big mountain out in Wales.
Chris?
Yeah.
Wasn't in Wales.
Was it?
No.
Closer.
It was very close. It wasn't in Wales though.
But yeah, I had to break 100k on my e-bike, which was pretty scary. I've done some
Still
massive
can't believe
stuff.
you got the cheek to come in here. You didn't beat that speed limit.
I know. It was a really scary day out, really fast. You know, the fastest I've ever been on a bike. I think it was 99.9.9 kilometers an hour, just under 100 Ks, but yeah, pretty scary times.
Nice. Chris, any particular highlights of the last year on EMBN?
Yeah, I think my Versus stuff with Sam Pilgrim, he's pretty good on the e-bike if you didn't know that already, so I have my work really cut out for me on that.
Pioneer, right?
Yeah, definitely. Always battling out between trying to land those first landed tricks on e-bikes, but he seems to be getting in there quite a lot recently. And then Blake Sampson as well. Big session went down with him, me versus him on his trail bike. That was a real cool video. But yeah, loving all
Sounds
this.
like your Versus videos all went pretty well this year.
Yeah, definitely. Apart from a couple. Which ones are those, Steve?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Anyway, moving on to some scary moments. I mean, I wouldn't go anywhere near those jumps that you and Blake and Pilgrim did.
Yeah.
Like my worst nightmare. However, during the time you were doing that, I was probably in the north of Scotland on the Knoydart Peninsula, dodging some pretty scary moments. We tried to cross the peninsula in one day, and there was a river crossing which was compromised due to one of the bridges being washed away. So this was a big day-long trip. We started off at 6 o'clock in the morning. What you didn't get to see on the video is actually some pretty scary stuff. Now, first of all, there was a taxi driver who was trying his utmost to make us all sick in his minibus, going over some humps, taking off at like 6 o'clock in the morning. It was ridiculous. And then, of course, there was the horizontal rain.
Did look an
there was the bogs, and there was the missed ferry crossings, and there was the trains that were broken, and there were people that were broken in the mountains, and
broken cameraman.
broken everything. It was a pretty full-on experience that was. Tell you what, Chris, Italy seemed to be a constant theme on the agenda this year, and there seems to be a massive e-bike following down there. And we had some great times down there. Myself and the Don did e-bike versus downhill bike, e-bike versus enduro bike. But for me, I think it was that trip, that high-level trip which we did in Liguria, which is something you probably couldn't have done on a conventional mountain bike, simply because of the climbing and the distance involved. And I think, again, there's some great behind-the-scenes moments where we ran a battery. You know, that's always, you know, battery anxiety is the constant thing with e-biking. But also, we did a trip in Wales. We did a trip up the Doethy Valley, where we went to the source of the Doethy, and what we didn't see on camera was the fact that we woke up in the morning, having had probably one or two too many, and realised we hadn't actually put our batteries on charge. What a bunch of plonkers.
Now, Steve, I know 2018 wouldn't have passed without your insight on tech. You went to loads of the trade shows. What was your favourite ones?
It has to be Eurobike.
Yeah.
It has to be every time. I mean, you know, having a hall by itself for e-bikes, and all those companies, the big brands, the small brands from, you know, from all parts of the world.
Yeah.
That was mental. And, you know, it was really exhausting trying to absorb all the different different tech that was at that show. But you know what? I also loved going to Lake Garda. There's a good, that was more of a scene, you know, kind of the e-bike scene was there.
Yeah. Rock
d'Azur was, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that there was like 40,000 entrants doing cross-country, marathon, enduro.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane. So I think, when it comes to tech, you get across the English Channel down into France, Italy, Germany.
Crazy scene.
Whoa.
So enough about this year for 2018. Let's take a look at our predictions for 2019. What are you thinking, Steve?
I predict for 2019 we will get very wet. We will definitely run out of battery, and we'll continue to meet some great characters all over the world.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a difference in battery technology, bigger names, bigger moves, loads more tech coming to e-bikes.
Really, I don't think it's about bigger all the time, Chris.
Yeah,
honestly, I don't. I mean, do you know what? I'm looking forward to stretching that Specialized 700 watt Levo battery to its limit.
Bigger ride.
At the same time, I'm looking forward to riding with the Canyon Spectral with two batteries, one in my backpack and, you know, one on the bike, 1,000 watt hours. That's great. And I'm really interested to see what the Fly-On can do with 120 meters of torque. Yeah, I think we'll be going up far more technical terrain, possibly. And that's it for our highlights for 2018. But how can we close without mentioning the insane banter that Martin Ashton's provided here on the show on a weekly level? And also, we've introduced some new people to e-bikes. We had a great challenge with Jess back in the summer out in the mountains of Wales. And also, whilst we're on the subject of Wales, how about Doddy's first trip on an e-bike, where he 5-starred it, and I had to sleep in a field full of sheep. So that's it for 2018, Chris.
Yeah, I really hope you've enjoyed the channel this year. We've got loads more cool stuff coming up next year, so stay tuned. If you've enjoyed today's video, drop some comments in the box below about your favourite videos that we've done this year. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to EMBN, and we'll see you next year.
Like, share, subscribe, right?
That's it.
And that's the hashtag, is it?
You got it.
Still haven't worked that out.